Episode 5: How to Deal with Difficult People. We are often dealing with difficult people in our everyday lives, may it be in work, school, or life in general. There are always people who will try to provoke you in many ways possible, and sometimes it's hard to figure out the reason why. Although it's better not to figure out the reason why, because as I always say to myself, what other people think of you is not in your job description. It's not your job to dissect what they're thinking, and it's most definitely not your job to be their psychiatrist and cure their ever so unique state of mind. In the workplace or school, you may be working with a group of people that have characteristics that are distinct from yours, and that's already a given. Some will agree with you, while some won't, and sometimes all won't. Your immediate response when disagreements and non cooperation in group comes is that you feel so victimized. Been there, done that. But know that it's not always the case. It's just your mind making up reasons based from your previous experiences. And no, I won't tell you the reasons why they act that way, like what other people would explain it to be like. Oh, it's because they're jealous of you, or they just plainly hate you, or they want to be you. I mean, yes, that may be the case, but then again, do you really want to work yourself up so much to the extent that you are probably worshiping them by having to think about why they do such things to you or what they think about you 24/7? I know I don't, because that would be absolutely exhausting. I had been in the same cycle over the past years. I would easily get triggered by many petty things that are out of my control, or people whom I have no kin relationship with, or people whom I shouldn't really give attention to. When you're in that moment where you want to lash out in anger or sadness, most often than not, you get so carried away with your emotions that you forget to think rationally. It is in moments like that when you have to stop for a minute and breathe. Being in the same situation these past few years, there was this one time when I suddenly had enough, so I stopped and took a deep breath and thought to myself, how am I going to stop feeling sad, angry, anxious, and agitated? I recently discovered a saying by Buddha online, and it says that if you are easily triggered, then you are easily manipulated. That's when it hit me. That's when I realized that I am giving the enemy satisfaction through feeding my anger and sadness with it. All this time, I thought that the solution was to direct my output towards other people, but rather it should be to direct my output to myself. In simple terms, a difficult person will always be a difficult person, and you can't change that. But the only thing you can change is your reaction towards them. The question really is, how are you supposed to react to a difficult person? And not, how am I going to change this difficult person? The simple solution to dealing with people in a group is to find specific solutions that will benefit your well being. At times, it can be unfair because you have to bear the burden of getting the most work, but to think it over again, if you don't get the task done, then who will? The only edge you have over those kinds of people is experience and peace of mind. At least now you know not to repeat history again, and now you know how to deal with this kind of situation in the future. Take note that difficult people are not to be handled, but better to be ignored. Nevertheless, life will not always be in your favor all the time, but accept it as it is, and you will feel more relieved than last time. Don't let the temptations on this earth blind you from being a good person. You are in charge of every decision you make. At the end of the day, it's your choice whether to be angry, sad, anxious, or happy, free, and peaceful. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from this audiobook. And until next time, everyone, and don't forget to stay confidently you. Bye.